Over a year ago, throughout the day of January 10th, 2018, two of the most previously known strongest teams took the stage. The Western team that had given hope and revolutionized the playstyles of many, Envious, versus the Eastern superpower barely scathed by other teams, Lunatic High. Both teams had been practicing, and this was easily the most anticipated match of the early season. But going into the season, were both teams still what people thought they were, or were they already being surpassed soon before with their glory blinding the fans? We'll be taking a look into the teams shortly before the season and discussing the new expansion superpower of Runaway, who will meet the same fate. First, I'll be taking a look into the Dallas Fuel. If you followed the season, you probably know of the Fuel's rather poor performance compared to what they were expected to accomplish. Practically constant drama and changing the roster's composition weakened the team into a rather dismal state throughout most of the season. Before the Fuel's changes and now big names, Fuel was a rather successful team, dominating the early Overwatch scene for months and becoming the first well-known team, especially to a Western audience who did not know names or dominant performances such as C9, Kongdu, and GC Busan, hosting the two teams that would be merged into the inaugural season's victors, the London Spitfire. The team of the Fuel had failed due to drama within and an inconsistency in a practical no-main tank for most of the season. The suspensions of XUC, OGE, and a flop of Coco was a very hard problem to deal with throughout the season. Also, the team had no real projectile player till the beginning of Stage 2, where drama had started when they picked up yet another hit scan and a talented prospect from the Spitfire, Rascal. Drama ensued with the three players, which resulted in 2 of 3 being removed, with AKM staying. The drama hindered the team as they were a team known of violence and glory, but they had not achieved much during the season. Them doing poorly was a practically foreign feeling to them, and this resulted in a slump, ruining much of their season, to a resurgence with a lucky meta with Mickey's adapted brig skill and Era's coaching. The successful roster of the team that everyone knew consisted of the hitscan specialist, who has had potentially the highest high, but one of the lowest lows, Taimu, Harry Hook, Coco, Chips Hyjin, Internet Hulk, and Tailspin. The team was clearly off to a good start, having this roster's first tournament resulting in a third-place success, followed by a soon and quick succession of pure domination. Taimu was the Widowmaker and McCree legend that he is known to be. Chips Hyjin revolutionized support gameplay among many, with a lot of the Overwatch League supports looking up to him, such as Custa. Then came the event that brought true worldwide recognition to the team of Envious. Overwatch Apex Season 1, hosted by OGN, was a hit. Some of the best-known teams in terms of performance in the recent season of Overwatch League all started here. There was major inconsistencies. The group stage faced Lunatic High and Envious against each other, but Envious won there, and they lost to Kongdu, which narrowly lost to Envious in the next round. This led to eventual win and the success of Envious throughout the first season of OGN. Envious even went through roster changes, summoning in the now-known positive star, Mickey. The production of OGN with the reach and support again paved the way for the Western team to actually be the best in esport. It was revolutionary to show that the Koreans weren't top, as of now. The team rose, spiraling to top officially then. They had reached their peak, and everyone had known it. The glory and fame the team possessed was quite blinding, as no one knew how long that peak would really actually last. No one would, but the West language barrier didn't tell of anything on the Korean side. Everyone just thought and assumed they were the best, and they would stay the same. Early next year, the team was entered back into OGN's stellar production of Apex Season 2. The team went 2-1 in groups once more, losing top 10 teams in a group. But what was to be thought? It was just the same. They passed narrowly and moved on to Group Stage 2, where they lost Dota 2, bottom of the group, losing to Lunatic High and narrowly to Kongdu Uncia, and opposite to last season. And a month later, they lost narrowly to the other Western strong team, Rogue, a team consisting of French superstars such as Soon and Anko. The team realized they were slipping, so they picked up the now controversial player of Effect. Soon after, NA contenders opened, and Envious dominated, showing no mercy in wiping every team, even getting 0 deaths on a map. It was a true showing of the team, showing they still had it. They were still there, right before the beginning of Overwatch League. They were it, and they were the Western hope. As the Overwatch League opened and hopes grew, the season began with few huge additions, with XUC, Custa, and Seagull, who was added slightly before the actual Overwatch League season. And then they fell. What happened to the team that everyone had hopes in? Nothing. They had hit their peak and the glory blinded the fans, leading everyone to just ignore the flaws present due to the crush of undeveloped teams. Vec came out and asked me an anything during the Overwatch League season and said that the reason Envy won Season 1 of Apex was due to the development of the Korean teams. Envious was favored in ways that no others were, and they held behind, decaying, which was obviously shown throughout the first season. The Seoul Dynasty was the other team besides Envious expected to be dominant. Them and the Spitfire, but that wasn't anything near as the Dynasties and Fuel's reign. They were a team that picked up where Envious failed to succeed in Season 2 and 3 of Apex. Seoul Dynasty was a team that had much expected, but they were not as bad as the Fuel throughout the first season. They almost made playoffs twice, but they kept doing worse, and their main tank eventually was just kind of gone. Miro, the revolutionary Winston, was no longer a tier 1 player. They even used their amazing support player on Winston over him, which was definitely a problem. The team had many coaches, resulting in a syndrome which was along the lines of too many cooks in the kitchen, mixing playstyles and deals from the coaches, and resulting in just failure overall with why. The team of Lunatic High assembled a few months later after the successful Envious squad did, consisting of players of Eska, Miro, Jaehong, Toby, Dean, and Lee Tae-jun. They had pretty good success in their teams, succeeding the qualifiers. They beat Envious, which was a rising team at the time, in the group stages, but they lost to Kangdu Unsia, which narrowly lost to Envy in the same season. And the team had minor achievements right before the next season Apex. They were definitely preparing, and they had a first place and a second place finish, followed by 5th and 8th place, right before Apex Season 2. Were they on downfall? No. However, the team had made changes throughout and mostly won all their games, losing only one group match to the Runaway team, which was also a rising team at the time. The playoffs led to a 4-3 victory for Lunatic High. They had reached their peak, similar to Envy's Apex Season 1. Expect they just continue to grow. Due to OGN's publicity, the legends of Lunatic High had reached their west, due to also Envy's interest, growing for also Western players. Both teams were feared, but Lunatic High's was just starting, and they would dominate once more to go to what is arguably one of the best matches in Overwatch history, a 4-3 win of Lunatic High over Kondu Panthera. They have won once more. And then came to the end of the peak. What happened in Season 4 of Apex? Envious was absent due to preparing for Overwatch League, and North American contenders had started, but Lunatic High didn't even reach the finals. They have failed in the group stages, losing to talents of Runaway and GC Busan. They won another tournament before performing okay in one right after, and right before Overwatch League, they started their plummet from the top. So had Envious. But just as Envy, glory bond it all. Supporters of the team didn't realize this. They just thought it was due to controversy and a confirmed spot for them in Overwatch League. It'd be good, right? No, they flopped too. The star tank player who had revolutionized and made Winston a force to be reckoned with, Miro, even disappeared throughout the season, being benched off of Winston by the star support to be Winston due to his poor performance. The team had flopped, and the superiority was not what it just was, just as Envious was. And finally, the newest team of the expansion team, which is predicted to be great, the Vancouver Titans, which is Runaway. With the history of both teams recapped here, surely a team with even more history, the team story of Overwatch, a story of strain, hardship, sacrifice, and probably the greatest that most people have seen. If you want to know more specifically about them, an extremely good video watch would be the one by Divided by Zero's video on Runaway. Runaway's success has landed them with a strong second place victor, season after season after season. They choked the hardest and they lost it all at their top. As their glory was not promoted as the other teams were to this, they had potential from the other top teams at the time. However, this is where the speculation comes in. After the years before Overwatch League, this team was always a follower-up. They had potential, but never prevailed. Once the playing field was cleared, with many of the talents being cleared for Overwatch League, they should have been fine. But no team picked up the entire roster. They would just run away. They would succeed and win contenders Season 1 of Korea. Easily, right? Right? No, they placed 3rd or 4th and still struggled. Season 2 came around, and it looked bright as the team had finally won. They had won the first tournament after all the second places, all the choking, everything. They had won an actual tournament with success. They were the victors, finally. After almost 3 years, there they were. The team had gone through it all, and they were announced 2 months later as the full roster, with an addition of the Vancouver Overwatch League spot, the Titans. But there's the teams, which many were picked up for, and bits or pieces were taken parts of for Overwatch League Season 2. The team still barely prevailed. The teams did not have synergy quite like them, but they still barely scathed by. They did win, but how will the team be able to prevail after not prevailing after multiple sweeps of players for Overwatch League, until finally they barely made it through? How will the team be able to compete? And is this considered one of the best expansion teams? Up there with the Rain and the Spark? Will this team prevail? Will the trend of the teams with the most history not prevailing occur once more? Will the fans be shut down, and will the players cope after a strong success followed by a loss? The team has potential, but will the same pattern happen once more? Will the pieces required there, and will it show? Well, time will tell, as it is basically a few days until the beginning of the league, and our questions will be answered then.